Okay. Um, I cannot contact Hazel. I think she thinks she's on with me and she's not. Could someone please? Is there any what way anybody could text her or something? I don't have her phone number. She needs to do the link again. Hazel! She can't hear me even though I've put her on the stage. It's because I had to go out and come back in. Can anybody, is anybody there? Can anybody hear me? Waffles, can you hear me talking? I am having a heck of a time. Hazel! I don't think anybody can hear us. Does anybody hear me talking? All right, I'm going to go out. I don't know what to do here. Nobody can hear. Hello? You can hear me? All right. Is there any way that you can reach Hazel and tell her to go out and come back in again? Because I emailed her and I cannot. She does. I guess she thinks she's on, but she is not on. And I don't know how to tell her to. I don't know how to tell her to do it. Well, maybe she will figure it out. I don't know. Because I had to go in and turn off screen mirroring, and then I got all I because it I don't know. I don't know how to get a hold of her without I emailed her. I don't know what else to do. Hazel. Hazel, I cannot hear you and I cannot see you. You have to go out and come back in, please. Can you hear me, Hazel? I can hear her typing, but I cannot. I don't see her camera or anything. I don't think she's even realizes I went live.
I can hear
There you
something.
are. There you are. What the
Oh
heck
my
happened?
God. I don't know.
Well, I had to go figure out the screen mirroring, and then when I came back on, you couldn't. I couldn't see you. I could hear you typing, but that's all I could hear, or whatever you were doing.
So now I'm watching you. I'm watching the split screen on my laptop on StreamYard, and it seems to be working fine. Do you still want me to go to YouTube?
You can see the chat and everything.
No.
Well, if you want to read the chat, close the one out on your computer and go to YouTube.
Okay, I'm going.
Sorry about that. Okay, folks, sorry. We had a little technical difficulty, and I think I forgot because StreamYard, you have to tell it you do not want screen mirroring, which is stupid. There's a checkbox, and it never used to do that. And I don't use it enough anymore to remember. So it's annoying. But thank you all for coming and supporting us. We are two very professional ladies, and we will get this done.
And our specialty is technical matters.
Yes.
Excuse me. One thing that I'm noticing is that my camera, what I'm seeing on YouTube, is considerably slower than what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, we're at least 5 seconds behind, but I actually think it's more than that.
Okay.
It's kind of confusing sometimes. So
So I'm seeing some names in the chat that I'm unfamiliar with. So hello to everyone that I know and all of you who I don't know. I'm so glad to be here.
So do you want to post your link to your channel?
Uh,
I'll.
can I do that?
You can.
Oh, you mean in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will pin it at the top of the chat so people coming in can find you really easy. Hello, Jody.
Hi, Joni. Hi, Juliet. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Juliet. I'm going to make you moderator so that you can connect with folks if you want to. Waffles is here. KY Philly is here. Cricket is here. Hi, Cricket. And Joan is here. Star is here. Hi, Star. So, Hazel, tell us what you're going to work on.
Well, I have been, trying to decide ever since we decided that we were going to do this. I thought about painting, and then I thought, you know what, maybe I can slow stitch more effectively, and still keep an eye on the chat and so on. So this is, now I can't remember if I've shown this one yet on my channel, but this is a long, oh, of course, nothing is happening. This is a long sort of boho style snippet that I'm working on. It's about 30 or so inches long. So I've machine stitched. A number of rows, a number of layers. Oh, incidentally, this back fabric is a jelly roll piece. And I thought it was kind of good to have a darker, almost mauvey type piece as my background. And then anything that where you see all these pins, these are things that I now will begin hand sewing on and kind of securing the edges. So that's what I intend to do tonight. And if you think, oh my goodness, she's such a slow sewer, like slower than slow, then let's blame it on the lag, okay?
I see Juliet and Penny here in the chat. And Sherry. Sherry, I made you standard moderator so you can connect with people if you want. And what I'm working on, I'm doing a painting. And I am doing a loose tutorial, like I do a lot of times with Tracy Kiernan. She has a new one out, so I'm going to attempt to do that, but I'm going to, of course, put my own spin on it. And if you're interested in her tutorials, her website and her YouTube channel are in the description. And also, please check out in the description, my members are listed. And go check them out and support them. I'm kind of considering canceling the memberships because I don't know, I feel like I'm not offering very much value for people's money, and I don't want to just steal people's money. And the Facebook group isn't growing very much either, so I may consider that. So if you all would like to cancel your membership, that is fine with me, because I want you to be able to get value for your money. And I have had a lot. I've been sick a lot this month. I've had them come in like 3 different times in my apartment. They had to fix some things. They had to do an inspection, and then the electric company came and did some upgrades. So this has just been nonstop this month. So I haven't really had time to do much with the membership.
So Martha, don't you think part of the issue is, and I don't know enough about what you're talking about to be speaking to that, but don't you think if everyone feels the same way as I do, and maybe as you do, it seems like there aren't enough hours in the day to do all the things we want to do personally and for our channels or whatever, as
That
well as watching friends and new people that we don't know.
And I'm single and live alone. I have 2 cats, and I can't get everything done I want to do, and it's hard for me to handle more than one social media, and that is mainly YouTube. And Penny, yeah, I saw your question. The Facebook group is for members. It was supposed to be a place for people to make requests and share the work and ask questions, come up with ideas for the channel, but it's just kind of, there are some freebies on it that I posted for people, but I haven't posted any this month, so I'm thinking about just canceling it.
So that would be similar to the memberships that were available on Coffee or Ko-fi.
Yeah, but it's YouTube memberships.
Yeah, but same concept, right?
Yeah, and you really need to be all into it. And
Yeah.
I didn't promise a lot. I promised a private Facebook group to do all the things I just said, emojis and like special emojis and special badges for the as long as you're a member, and also like shout outs. And I've tried to do some community posts for shout outs. I did a couple of them, but there's just, there's always something going on, and I guess I am behind at doing that. And I try to shout them out in videos and lives and stuff. It isn't done the right way.
Well, and I see that Joni is sort of saying that, she feels like she's in the same boat. I know that I'm just terrible with Facebook. Um, and if my Instagram posts, which I'm also not very diligent about, if they weren't automatically going to Facebook, I would have nothing there at all. So I don't know. I think I'm like you. I kind of am putting all my eggs in the YouTube basket, and I don't know if that's
And
smart. That's realistic.
I've tried my best to do Instagram, and I just do not. It's not my thing. I have done it
Yeah.
some, but I prefer Facebook. But since
Yeah.
I've been doing YouTube, I don't even do that very much.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and all those other new ones, Twitter.
Yeah.
They have more
Well,
than me.
it just seems as though I don't know. I guess I'm old enough to sort of think that you can't spread yourself that thin because then you don't do justice to anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the memberships would be fun if I could do it. And if the Facebook group was kind of active with more members, but I just am not in the frame of mind to try to push it, I guess.
Yeah. I think you're really taking advantage of and becoming really adept at these lives, though, aren't you?
Well, I thought I was till tonight. Because that was not your fault at all. That was my fault.
Don't I think I probably share some of the blame there. Thank you, Sherry's Journey. Um, yeah, it's but okay, maybe just how about a paid political or not political, but how about a paid announcement? How often do you do your lives? Is it a set thing or is it just when the spirit moves you?
Well, I used to be a lot more. Um, Before I got monetized, and I worked my hiney off so long and hard that I kind of burnt myself out. And so as soon as I got monetized, I kind of just I kind of not been too many videos or lives since then, which is kind of counterintuitive. If you want to be monetized, you need to do something to make some money.
Well, you're right about that. So, do you do a weekly live or not that often?
Right now, I didn't do one last week, but I try to do one a week. It will probably be more than that as soon as I recover my brain a little bit.
A long time ago, I cross stitched a tiny little. It was a tiny little kit. It's probably only 2 or 3 inches across, and it said, "Of all the things I've ever lost, I miss my mind the most."
Boy, that sounds like me.
Oh dear. So, can I ask a technical question and tell me what you know, and maybe there are others who are interested in hearing the answer. So,
Absolutely.
is StreamYard sort of the first choice for people who are doing something like we're doing tonight with a split screen? And if you were here all by yourself, would you be doing a YouTube live? Or
Um, I
what?
usually don't like to do the YouTube ones if I want to have invite somebody up because I don't like to do the vertical screen. And if you
Oh,
have, as far as I know, you have to if you have a guest. But
okay. But if we're doing it all by yourself, you could have your camera set up the way you normally would for a normal video, except it would be streamed live. Is that the gist of it?
yeah, and I just don't. YouTube is kind of funky because it won't, like you saw, we set our camera up, like when you want to do horizontal, like we're doing, you can't set it ahead of time. Or I haven't figured it out because if you schedule it and you go in, you're going to go vertical. I cannot figure out how to get it to go horizontal after it's scheduled. And you also can't like put your camera where you want it and start. You have to fiddle with it after you go live. So that's why I don't like YouTube lives. But some people do fine with them. It might be user error.
So we have some Jenny's Crafty Corner, middle of the night there in the UK. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I saw her doing a beautiful project today, and I did not comment though because I was in a hurry to start working on my what I was gonna do. But she was doing a project for WS Art Club and doing a very beautiful job.
So would it be, I mean, obviously your viewers better than I do, or the people here in the excuse me, here in the chat. Would it be safe to say that a lot of these people have channels that I need to check out after this is all over?
Yes, and if you want to see, where is your name? Is your name up here? You posted something up here. Uh, you already have a wrench, so you can just tap on uh or click on because you're not using your iPad, right? You can click on the blue names, go straight to their channel, and subscribe or look at their channel real quick and
Is
see.
that a little bit like chewing gum and walking and slow stitching all at the same time?
Well, it's easy on an iPad. I haven't tried it on a computer because I don't have one anymore. I gave mine away because it was so old it didn't even update anymore.
Okay, but I think, and this is, probably I shouldn't even admit stuff like this, but I think I'm going to go old school and just make a list of these people, all the blue people.
Never work.
Okay, so for instance, well, okay, I know Jones, Junk Journals, and more. You've said that Now, who's the lady from the UK? Jenny. So, okay, somebody like Juliet, first name, Blue Wrench. Does she have a channel?
I don't know now. I don't remember. She's probably been here before. I just gave her a wrench tonight, so. But let me go. Where is she? I need to find her comment, and then I can go look at her channel and see if she's got videos. She does do videos. She has 2,000 5.2.5 videos and 2.66 subscribers.
So she's putting some of us to shame, in other words.
Is, and I went ahead and subscribed to you, Juliet, and hit the notification so I could watch your next video. See who else? Regina. Is she still here? Looks like Regina, she has some subscribers, but it looks like some saves playlists for herself. And I think I know most everybody else. They do have channels.
Well, I'm subscribing more than I'm stitching at this point.
Well, Juliet, start doing lives. 500 a week and you'll get monetized. That's what I did.
This is crazy. So, Martha, why don't you give a play-by-play of what you're doing?
I'm doing a background, and I am doing like little streaks with black and white and purple and blue, and I'm trying to make it look kind of like rain.
And you're using acrylics.
Yes.
And you're working in a mixed media sketchbook?
Yes. I prefer canvas, but I don't have room for a bunch of canvases anymore like I used to. This brush is falling apart. It keeps losing its handle.
I had well, here's my delayed reaction again, but I was dry brushing some oh, there it is finally. Dry brushing some gesso on something today, and this ferrule came off the handle, so I'm going to put this one out to pasture now.
That's what I'm thinking. I have a whole bunch of paintbrushes. I don't need all those paintbrushes because when I'm looking for, I prefer one this size and a round brush. And most of my round brushes have got all weird on me. So I don't need all those other brushes. Just keep a few of my favorites. I guess I'll throw them away because I don't know who to give them to. And they're not really expensive either, so.
Well, and the thing is that, they say that women, well, maybe men too, but women wear about 20% of the clothes in their wardrobe or in their closet. So it's not surprising that we, keep reaching for our favorites over and over again in just about anything. Favorite art supplies, favorite stencils, favorite stamps, favorite brushes.
And that's
So
too, a lot of those I bought, I didn't even really know what I needed, and now I kind of know more what I want and what works for me.
well, and I think the moral of the story is that when people are new to something, and I know what I'm talking about here because this is exactly what I did. Stumbled into junk journaling and paper crafting and all of this. and you see videos, you see creators, you see people doing and having other, things that you've maybe never seen before or don't own, and you fall into the trap of believing you need it all. But far from it. So the message I would say to anybody who might be new, who's tuning in, is when an old timer tells you you don't need it all, believe us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't see all those destashing videos.
Yeah, and I bought a bunch of. I really don't enjoy stamping at all, and I quit a while back. But I do have some stamps. I don't know whether to get rid of them or just keep them. I might use the few I have. I probably have too many stencils because they're not the ones I want. I have certain ones that I like, and most of them are not the ones I have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough situation because I think most of us also what goes hand in hand with this lifestyle or this habit or this hobby is the idea of thrifting. So most of us can't walk away from a good deal because we see the potential and we see the possibility and we know how much more expensive it is new. So we buy it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're using what we buy.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy too much anymore, just like glues and stuff, because I went hog wild when I first started buying from Temu. And when I go to the dollar store, I can't control myself, or the thrift store, so I just stay home mainly.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, and I bet you if you gave yourself the challenge of how long can I go without shopping or just using my own stuff, what I already have, you'd probably break a record of some sort.
yeah, I haven't done that in a while. Just buy what, like glues and, you
Yeah.
know, stuff like that.
Joni says, yeah, Joni stays home and crochets. Well, so Martha, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
What part?
I'm in Northern California, close to Sacramento.
Okay, I don't have an atlas in front of me. And of course, for the people in the chat who don't know me, I'm living in Alberta, Canada. And so I guess there's no point in me asking to compare how much snow you got with how much snow we got, right? Because I win.
Yeah, we don't get snow here. I mean, maybe every 10 years we might get a few flakes, but
Yeah, no, we got a real dump. It was feeling like most of the snow had melted, and it feel like, oh, spring is coming. But honestly, um, yeah, March is a very fickle month, and we just got a big dump in the last day or two.
Cricket said she needs Timu Anonymous.
I found that their their marketing is very aggressive. So I unsubscribed, and that definitely helps because they were sending email messages several times a day, it seemed.
Oh,
And
stores
you
do
know
that. I mean, you go buy one thing. I know you're there. When I want you, I'll come back. You do not have to send me 50 million emails.
that yeah, it uses up our storage space. And I think that sometimes people um uh, honestly, before COVID lockdowns, I was never an online shopper. I'm one of those people that wants to touch it and see it and size it up and all of that. So of course, the world went crazy with online shopping. And, so I succumbed there for a while. But it really annoys me with the intrusive emails. And of course, they make it sound as though, this is a time, like there's the countdown clock showing you when this extraordinary deal is going to end. Well, you know what I also discovered? That if you put something in a shopping cart and ignore it for a while, you'd be surprised how you soon start getting emails saying that the price has dropped. So, I don't think that we can outwit the marketing that's going on there. So it's best.
So, you missed this deal. There'll be another one tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it creates a false sense of urgency too.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, limited quantities, and deal ends in 30 minutes, blah blah blah. Well, okay, I guess I'll have to live without it then.
Yeah, I decided I don't have any room for much more stuff, so I'm gonna use up what I got for a while.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of I don't know if it's the whole New Year's resolution thing, the sticker shock or the credit card statement shock after Christmas, or that little pause where people start really, taking a good hard look at their studios and maybe preparing a studio video tour or something. And it's kind of, a bit of a reality check, I think. So it's not surprising.
Yeah, I realized a while back because what it is, I think I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I'm in the pursuit of the perfect media, especially like for painting and drawing and stuff, because I've never been satisfied with one media. I always mix it up. So that's why I call myself mixed media artist, because I'm not usually, I add something else. I want to find a media that I'm just happy with the one thing. I think, okay, if I try this, maybe that'll be it. If I try that, maybe that'll be it.
Okay, but Martha, it's a smorgasbord. Why would you want to only have the soup?
I don't know, because I get frustrated when I can't get a product to do what I'm wanting it to do.
So now you need to become an inventor, right?
Yeah. I want a round paintbrush that never loses its point, even if you leave it soaking in the water for a week. I guess that's not going to happen, though, is it?
Oh, it's going to fall apart if you leave it soaking in for a week anyway. Have you tried investing in a really expensive brush, like a safe brush? Oh, mind you, if you're doing acrylics, no, you don't want sable for that.
Well, hello, living my best life. I forgot your first name, but thank you for popping in. Sorry, y'all, I'm just letting this dry a minute so I can draw my picture on here. And I don't really want to use that heat gun because it's real loud. I will let you know, Star. I know, Penny. It's just like sometimes, sometimes the dollar store brushes will work for a longer time. I used to buy those dollar store brushes, those blue ones. They did pretty good for a while, but after a while they wear out. They lose their point. Well, if it isn't Caroline. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, Caroline. She was smart. She missed all the technology drama at the beginning.
Yeah.
Can I put a plug for my March collaboration and the
What?
reason Masterboard Madness going on all month long on my channel, and Caroline was the featured creator today.
Oh, I've watched everybody so far except Caroline. I have to get to yours tonight, Caroline.
Yeah, it was pretty unique. So yeah, you do need to check it out. I've just been so impressed with what everyone's done. And in every single case, I've picked up a new technique or been reminded of something I haven't done in a long time. And I don't know, I think it's been awesome. And of course, Caroline always comes from the standpoint of, recycling and using what others would consider trash and so on. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that. It's a cliffhanger. Go check it out.
I will. That'll be my what I sit down to watch tonight, or if not, it'll be in the morning with my coffee. I like to save some. I usually save possum patty for in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee.
So, do you mind showing us or telling us what brand of sketchbook you have there?
Okay, it's just a plain old. It's a Canson watercolor, 9 by 12, 140 pounds. And the paper is really sturdy and it takes acrylic paint really well.
Yeah, that's great. And I think even Michael's has those Canson brand on sale, occasionally.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I got this one from Michael's, but I did the one before.
hi, Terry. I think that
Mick Mouse Mom, hi.
I think that I've even scored sketchbooks at thrift stores occasionally. So, you know, that's always a gives you a little warm glow.
Yeah, it's always nice to like. I used to buy some. There was I don't know if y'all had them in Canada or not, but we had Kmart.
Yes, we did.
I think we still do have a precious few here and there, but not in my area. But you used to go there and find some. I liked the sketchbooks there because back then I wasn't painting much. I was mostly drawing and using markers, and it did a fantastic job, I thought.
Yeah. I think
But
like I did a video not
or
so long ago about, old art supplies, and the thing in question was these old Marvy markers that I had probably for about 30 years. And I thought, like, who am I kidding? Let me try to use these darn things. If there's any juice left in them, let me wring it out of them. If there isn't, let me get rid of them and not pretend that I've got a supply when in fact it's really just taking up space. And I was able to get to do a piece with them. And then I threw the rest out and I feel kind of good about that. But I think it goes to show that really a lot of these art supplies have a very long life.
yeah,
Only occasionally have I ever had acrylic paint go bad. And it's sort of, you can tell by the smell that maybe it's time to let it go.
Hazel, that's not a dumb question. I think your name is Echo, right? Is that Echo? She wants to know what is a masterboard, and you are the expert, Hazel. So explain it to her or show
Okay.
her.
And sorry, what did you say her name was?
I think it's Echo. Yes, she's living my best life at 60.
Okay, Echo. That is a great question. And just before I get to the my definition, I just wanted to say that when I fell into this world of, YouTube and tutorials and junk drills and paper crafting, I wonder if YouTube creators remember when they were just beginners, and there's almost like a second language. So at one point early on, I did kind of a glossary of, breaking down the terminology, because otherwise, how would any newcomer figure out what this stuff means? So, so a master board, well, really, you should watch you should watch the videos. It's hashtag masterboard madness. And I think what that would prove to you is that there are an infinite number of combinations, an infinite number of substrates. So we've had people do master boards on paper, on wallpaper, on fabric, on essentially on any kind of a substrate that you can think of. I think someone did one on canvas.
That was me.
Oh, looky there. Uh, I
So
I
nice.
remember. Oh,
Right.
sorry. I remember. I remember thrifting some 12 by 12 burlap scrapbooking papers. Well, son of a gun, if somebody, no, who was it though? Uh, was it Peg? I can't remember. Somebody just did a video on using those very sheets of burlap scrapbooking paper that I've had for years. Anyway, start with whatever you want as your substrate. It could be a grocery bag or anything you choose. And then glue down whatever, glue down anything that's standing still. It could be fabric, it could be paper, it could be, uh, you know, essentially trash. And at that point, you're creating a base. And after that, you can do whatever you want to further embellish it. Maybe I should just pull in a couple of examples here.
I'm flipping through my masterboard
Oh,
notebook. Oh,
well, hey, there's some perfect examples. So some people, including me, create them in books. Martha there has the composition book, it looks like from here. I've also done it in oversized hardcover books. And the beauty of doing it in a book is that, like this, you can flip through it and just show people. I mean, you can just admire how brilliant you are. um,
look at
it,
your pretty colors.
it's an easy way to store them. And then when you feel the urge to use one, just rip it out of the book, back it up with, some plain paper or whatever you want to put on the back. In this case, Martha doesn't even have to do that because she's got lined paper at the back. And you can then cut it up into pieces to use it as cards or pockets or, belly bands or whatever. If it's big enough, you can use it as a journal cover. Um, I, Joan is reminding me that she did hers on wallpaper, or she used wallpaper to glue it on. And yeah. Oh,
And if you like it well enough, I like mine well enough, I might never use it. I think it's a cute art journal. I just
that's
use it.
exactly right. And I think some people who are new to this would also think, okay, so big deal. What's the difference between a glue book and and what you're showing there, which are masterboards? And there isn't really a difference, so to speak. The beauty of doing it on one side, though, is that if you choose to cut it up or frame it or just admire it, you don't have to make the choice between,
Thank
you
you,
know,
Carol.
it on the front and what you did on the back.
Okay, y'all, this is going too slow. I'm going to move out of the hearing distance a little bit and blow this dry.
It almost sounded like you were vacuuming there for a while.
I got the paint really thick in one spot. I can't get it dry.
I would be curious if the ladies in the chat would tell me, are you doing something and just listening to the sound of our voices and peeking up occasionally, or are you glued to the tube and just not doing anything, your own craft? I'm curious about that, if you don't mind saying.
Okay, I think it's almost dry anyway.
I don't know whether you heard, Martha, or not. I was asking people in the chat to let us know whether they're so entranced by what we're doing here that they have dropped all their own work, or if they're crafting sort of with one eye and ear on us and doing their own thing. So far, oh, cleaning up. Okay, watching, crocheting around a button, watching us and kicking back in her recliner, working on diamond painting, cleaning out my stashes, putting away groceries, crafting along. That's cool. I'm trying to get this knot out of this thing. Looks like it has to stay. So, Martha, what are you drawing?
I'm trying to draw an elephant.
So, are you self-taught, or did you take some art classes along the way?
I have taken a lot of art classes, but not that many painting classes. I took one oil painting class, but I learned a lot from watching YouTube. I took mostly drawing classes because that was my thing for a while.
Isn't the best part of being a YouTube, well, or you don't even have, I was going to say being a YouTube content creator, but I mean, the same thing applies whether a person has a channel or not. Isn't it great to be able to wake up in the morning and just decide what you're going to do and not have to be answerable to anybody? If you want to draw, you draw. If you want to paint, you paint. If you want to tear and cut and glue, you do that. Like, I think we're living a charmed life.
Absolutely. This is going to be another wonky critter, I think.
Oh, hi, Helen.
Helen!
Helen,
There's
Helen,
my bud.
Helen found my channel through you, Martha, so that's great.
Great, Helen. I'm glad that you went to subscribe. How are you doing? She always says, "Oh, I can't craft. I can't do anything," and then you know what she does, and it's gorgeous.
I know people like that too. Oh, she says that you're her mentor. Oh, that's a big responsibility to carry their kiddo.
I think she already kind of had it before she started watching me. So I'm coloring this in black so that I can see it and refine it a bit. Probably a lot of the paint will cover it up anyway.
Okay, Helen, I just subscribed to your channel along with some other ladies that we talked about before you came on. Perfection is your enemy.
Well, hello, Freckleface. Long time no see. How you doing? Haven't been on much, so that's probably why.
So does everyone have big plans for the weekend? I find that here on the farm, and especially since I'm, working in my studio, that every day blends into the other. And most of the time, I don't know what day it is.
Yeah,
And I like it like that.
I don't really make plans. I don't have plans anymore.
Well, I think we're supposed to go to a fireman's ball tomorrow, but honestly, with the amount of snow that fell and the treacherous road conditions, I said to my husband, can't we just consider that a donation to the fire brigade and stay home? Like, I don't know. Oh, there's some baking going on.
Okay, I think I should use a ruler for this part, maybe.
Caroline, I think what you're getting is what the prairies has had these last few days. Bit of rain followed by snow.
Okay, that's a hot mess.
Why did you say that?
See, look at this brush. It was my favorite brush, and now it looks like it's got stuck in a light socket.
Hello, Mary Beth.
Hey, Mary Beth.
So, Mary Beth, did you find me through Martha? Oh, rhubarb apple crumble. That sounds so good. I'm a pathetic cook. I'd rather craft than cook any day.
Yeah, I'm hit and miss. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not.
Well, and you said that you live alone, so you only have yourself to please. So I guess that's both a blessing and a curse sometimes, hey?
Yeah, because whatever I make, I eat it anyway, unless it's really too disgusting.
No, but I mean, if you don't feel like cooking, there's no pressure from anyone to cook. So I guess that could affect your eating habits, but at least if when you're cooking for yourself, you only have one person to please.
Oh, I used to try to do some elaborate stuff for when I was married. Well, to one of them anyway, I did. One I loved.
Mary Beth, she did draw that right before our very eyes.
Yeah, I think it's a hot mess, but I guess I'm all wonky and whimsical anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. If I wanted to do a realistic elephant, I better get myself a reference photo for sure. I used to try to do realistic and I got tired of it. It's too tedious. I never did achieve it anyway, especially with painting.
I remember when I took art classes, there was a certain amount of snobbery between fine art and realistic art. So, in other words, the likes of Norman Rockwell, um, in Canada, Ken Danby, you know, people like that. It was almost like photorealism. And some snobs would say, well, why even bother painting if you're going to make it look like a photograph? Which is just kind of so
It's,
narrow minded,
it's
I would
what
say.
you want to do. Why not?
Well, exactly. It's a free country. And if what I'm doing or what you're doing and what anyone in the chat is doing is not hurting anyone else, then who the hell, dare I
Yeah,
say,
don't
the
like.
right way in on it?
That's what I hated about being in school. Oh my God, the words they would made up words to describe stuff used to make me crazy. And you could put Ality on anything and make it a word, and that used to drive me crazy. And they're so pretentious. And the higher education they got, the more pretentious they are, and they will tell you something, and you don't know what they said when they're done.
Well, and the same is true in the world of writing. You know, people who write sort of high-minded stuff that maybe wins prizes look down their noses at the people, the commercial artists, I mean writers who are, or the writers who are commercial successes. So, again, free country, do whatever you want. You know, if you, and I think among the general public, there's a certain amount of horror at some of the prices that governments sometimes, or rich people sometimes spend on art.
Which is a red stripe, $1 million.
Oh, you're familiar with that one, are you?
Yes.
So would you rather have, back to the writing, would you rather have millions of people reading your books and enjoying them and giving you a wonderful lifestyle? Or would you like to spend your whole life writing one literary masterpiece that maybe nobody but the judges read? Like, I don't know. I'm too old for BS like that.
Well, in my last drawing class, she put me through hell, just to be honest. And she told me that my work was, I don't remember the word she used, but it was kind of like kitschy, which is, the word kitschy?
Yeah.
Like shoddy, commercialist, that kind of stuff. I almost
Yeah.
know my channel, the Kitschy Queen, but I knew nobody would know what it meant, and I'd have to be forever explaining it. And I decided I like kitschy. I like whimsical. So that's what I'm going to do. If I want to paint a cartoon elephant, that's what I'm going to do.
When we had our, my mom and I had a craft and flower shop for 16 years. And of course, when you're running a small business, you need to do many things, especially in a small community, to appeal to as many people as possible, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one of the things that we did, well, that I did, was also teach art classes. And, it's surprising, like, especially with adults, it's surprising how an ignorant remark from, a teacher early on in their life, and I'm talking like school, elementary or whatever, is enough to stifle a person and shut them down for decades.
True.
And so I always bent over backwards, um, trying to encourage and accept whatever the kids were creating, because I didn't want to be one of those people. I didn't want to be one of those people. And, kids can sometimes be a bit whiny too. And they'd say, "Oh, I can't do that." And of course, we had a poster with all the rules for the class. And one of them was that can't wasn't allowed. So sometimes I think that sometimes adults need that same uh, set of rules. Like, I don't think that can't should be allowed, because you can't. There's no God-given gift here. It's just practice and trying, and that's my belief system anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, we all get better the more we do something, but that's not to say that, it's a gene of some sort, and if you didn't get it, well, you're sorry, you're out of luck.
I mean, I learned a lot from that teacher, but that last class, I was wanting to do what I wanted to do and learn to do what I wanted to do, but she still wanted me to do what she taught us in the other classes. And so, of course, it wasn't very good because I was just beginning to do it.
Yeah.
I already learned to do your cross stitch, your cross hatch, and your hatch, and your shading. Now I want to draw flowers and animals and. Can you apricots, etc.
Hi, Bexx. Just having a spirited discussion here about art and art teachers and whether we should listen to anybody's feedback or just do whatever we darn well please.
I vote darn well, please.
Okay, Mary Beth, I see you. You did find me because of Martha. Well, that's great. I something interesting on the news today, and if you got here late, I do live in Alberta, Canada, and I don't know who measures this kind of stuff, but apparently they discovered that across the country, as Albertans, we swear the most. So I'm holding back here and trying to be well behaved. Honestly, I hope they didn't get a government grant to study that.
They haven't met me. No, I don't really. I cuss a lot when I'm alone and I get frustrated, but I don't really do it out, in public.
Okay, Martha, Joni is leaving us and she says she's going to go watch a film with her man folk. And I guess this is like the crafting blessing or something. May your stitches stay crossed and your glue tops never get lost.
Thank you, Tony.
You need to add another line that is applicable to painting.
May your brush always be pointy.
Exactly. I remember years and years and years and years ago hearing about a study, and they discovered that people who end up in jail, incarcerated for whatever reason, as a rule, have very low vocabularies. And it kind of goes hand in hand. Like if the only word um, it's sort of like that expression that if the only tool you have is a hammer, you see everything as a nail.
Yeah.
So if the only word begins with F, it's probably not a good sign of, that you're, looking that you have very many problem solving skills. So yeah, it's best not to indulge that urge, I think. But as you say, sometimes nothing else will do. But YouTube makes us behave ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm curious whether or not anybody in the audience here has done any slow stitching.
Hi, Trudy. Thanks for popping in.
Oh, hi, Trudy. Incidentally, if you're old enough, you'll know that slow stitching is nothing so great. Back in the day, it used to just be called embroidery. It was one of those womanly arts that, girls were taught. So,
yeah, my mom used to do that when I was a little kid.
Okay, so we've got a few fans of sewing and slow stitching. Slow and fast.
I really don't enjoy sewing. I used to do cross stitch myself, but when I got to the age I couldn't thread a needle without help, I stopped enjoying it.
When I was young, I did cross stitch and I did petty point. I even did petty point jewelry, for heaven's sakes.
My
You
goodness.
know, one thread of embroidery thread on silk mesh. So, I'd buy these blank whatever, brooches or rings or bookmarks or souvenir spoons or whatever. So, the thing from top to bottom could be like half an inch tall. So you can imagine how tiny that was.
True.
Um, yeah. So, yeah, that is sort of a young woman's um, hobby, I would say. And it was crazy. It's probably maybe a sign of having an addictive personality. But I remember as a young wife thinking, oh, I'm just going to finish this flower if I was or doing petty point. I'm just going to finish this flower, or I'm just going to finish this thread, or I'm just going to. And, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, you haven't blinked your eyes for the last 2 hours. It's, you really should be in bed, but just crazy. Beck says she can't follow directions, so slow stitching is great for her.
Yeah, I used to. I've crocheted some too, but I never did it long enough to get really good at it. Mainly
I,
because I learned everything from a book, and I guess I got there's things I needed to know, which the book didn't help me with.
I think I crocheted an Afghan, but must not have had very consistent tension because it was a bit like maybe like a parallelogram or something. It wasn't a rectangle when it was done. I have seen so much of Joni's crocheting. Oh, incidentally, Joni and I we're going to be doing our third live sale on April 3rd. Um, and Sandy Wilhelmina is joining us. She's been our moderator the last couple of times. Um, I should maybe add a caveat there, God willing, and the tariffs don't arrive. Um, anyway, Joni, of course, does a lot of crocheting. So, believe it or not, I've been tempted to look for a crochet hook and see if I could at least maybe do a chain stitch. I think it's oh, what is her name? She does beautiful journals. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Anyway, what she does quite often is just crochet a little tiny trim along the edge of something or other.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either.
We make a fine pair, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, I can picture her. Oh, Kathleen Maurer. That's
I
what.
don't know who that is, so it must be somebody else that I was thinking.
So, I'm kind of hoping that if a person is motivated to learn something for their own purposes, it's a lot more likely to stick and you more likely to get it than if a person, excuse me, is doing it for a passing grade in home ec.
Yeah.
Because there was the crochet, module, and the knitting one, and the machine sewing, and the cooking. So, Martha, when you get that elephant done, what, or might you do more on it after you've done the acrylic? That's the part what I'm trying to ask.
You mean like details?
Well, yeah. Do you go back in with markers and do some mark making, or is it pretty well all acrylic from this point on?
It depends on what I want to do. You like?
And I'm telling you.
Sometimes I'll go in with Posca pens or Faber-Castell pens because they're easy to shade. They're easier to shade with than a paintbrush for me. Me and tiny painting do not get along. So
Okay, talk a bit more about the Faber-Castell pens.
okay, let me get one. I'll get some here and I'll show you.
Poscas, and of course, like them, I've got
These,
some water soluble, pencil crayons, but
these are Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. They're brush pens. And I, of course, have probably all of the colors, and I don't remember how many there are because it's been a while. And the darker and medium ones work better than the light ones, I think. But they're made from India ink.
oh,
And so you can put them down, but you can thin them out with water, but they won't rub up if you paint over them after they're dry. And I really like to use them.
Can you hold it up closer to the camera and maybe take the cover off?
Yeah, if I can. Okay, let me make sure I'm up here. We're about 10 seconds behind here. It's just like a little. They're brushes, but they're pointy brushes. They're not.
And it's acrylic paint that's in them, or what?
No, it's India ink.
Oh, India. Oh, that's right. You said that.
And let me find one with a white writing. You might be able to. Here's see, you can see this is dark indigo. It has numbers. And it says Pitt Artist Pen Brush, Faber-Castell. And the brush is really small, so you can get in.
Yes, fine details.
So let me show you what I worked on this for 2 days. This is my Shuffle Cut Create project, and I didn't finish it till today because I was sick. But my prompt was island and day. So I painted this, and I did this one, the main part of it, with gouache. But then I went over it with some of those Pitt pens and some Posca pens, and so
great.
I like to do that for the detailing.
Yeah. Well, and those Faber-Castells, being that they have ink inside, they're not going to move, right? Because once they're there, they're there.
Yeah, that's what I like about them. Okay, now I need some other color here.
So now I'm at a crossroads. I've reached a fork in the road. Do I rush out and buy some Faber-Castell pens because Martha has pens, and my goodness, I need pens, or do I use what I already have?
Like me, I'm itching to buy some of those Ardex alcohol They're acrylic paint pens, and I really can't afford it, and I've got so many other stuff, but I really do want them too. So, but I'm gonna try to forego the temptation and do without them.
Yeah.
Because who knows? They're probably not any better than anything else, truly.
Well, it does sort of give a person a little warm, a little warm glow, a little feeling of satisfaction when you use something down to the last little, nub of it, or the last little ounce, or whatever, the last piece of paper. I think that it's something to sort of celebrate, because
Yeah.
so often things are just sort of abandoned. Oh, it didn't work. I didn't paint a Mona Lisa, so I guess it must be lousy pens, you know. So, but I will make a note of the brand name anyway. Let me do that
Well, you
right.
can get like if you can get small sets too. Of course, I think they're pretty expensive either way. But yeah, you could get some and try out. And you have Michael's in Canada. You might be able to just buy a few in store to try.
I've already forgotten the name. I remember the brand, but not the name. What you call them? Micro. Did you call them micro something?
No, Pitt, Pitt,
Okay. Yeah.
artist brush pens.
Actually, really good art store in the city that I'm closest to, and they have a sale. They come out with a flyer, like a little catalog every month with different things on sale. So it's kind of, worth checking out, worth waiting and seeing if something goes on sale.
Yeah.
It still is probably, too much in the scheme of things, but better than paying full retail is sort of my philosophy.
Yeah, I hardly ever buy anything like at Michael's or anywhere unless it's on sale or I have a coupon.
Gee, Caroline, I'm not surprised that you would use something down to the last drop. And I made that in the best possible way. I find that a person kind of has to shop around too. You know those, I don't know if they're in here or not. Oh, again, delayed reaction to. So remember when these Sharpie, oh, either brush or um, point pens came out?
Yeah, I haven't even got
Or
mine
the
yet.
no, oh my god, I got it all over my hands. The Don't Bleed, and at Michael's they were something. Well, Canadian prices, they were something like $28, and about almost half that at at Walmart.
Yeah,
Which,
Michael's is ridiculous sometimes.
well, and the thing is that I find, and I don't know if the same is true wherever you guys live, whether Canada or the States, that Walmart's craft department just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. All they seem to be focusing on now is Cricut. And I'm thinking, how many more outlets do people need for buying Cricut stuff?
I don't know. I was thinking about giving mine away because I bought it and I hate it. And I've only used it like maybe 3 times. Like, this is not for me. And I knew it when I bought it, but I bought it anyway. I thought maybe I would change my mind, but I didn't.
Well, I never did buy it because I thought I wouldn't like it. And it just irks me that, whole aisles, like 20, 25 feet of cricket supplies. I'm thinking, really? What about just some basic craft supplies?
And the thing of it is, you have to have, it's a brick unless you use the app. It does not work. And I don't like that. I'm a little
Yeah.
old fashioned, I guess. And I don't really like what that you have to print something out on your printer and then go through all the trouble of setting it up to cut it out. To me, that's too much work.
Well, and you're probably at the point where, you can create whatever you want. So why would you want to have something that everyone else has access to?
Well, I'll tell you why I wanted it is because I wanted to make stickers. And I don't know, it just does not. It may be the sticker paper I have. It's just not all that great. So I just kind of gave up. I'm like, I don't need to make stickers.
Um, so Trudy is asking me how and when did I get into crafting? I think that's, well, I mean, I don't want to cop out. I will answer you, but I also think that a long time ago there was I think it was Paper Confessions with Karamia that came up with this hashtag, what's in a name. So someone tagged me in that and I did a video and it's on my homepage. And basically I tell my origin story. Um, but
Yeah,
I
you me in that.
I think that basically I've always been kind of a crafty person. Part of that was you needed to take those things in home ec, like back in the day. Um, my mom and and this, I probably said this before you tuned in, but my mom and I ran a craft and flower shop and we did custom framing for nearly 16 years. So there was a lot of exposure to product. And of course, it's like so many other things. People need to see how to use something or how to do something in order to feel kind of confident buying it. So we ran adult and kid craft classes and of course had to. One of my favorite parts was doing the window displays. Like we had two big windows that face the street and I love that so much and doing little vignettes around the store as well. Anyway, when you have to keep, it's a little bit like having a YouTube channel. You have to keep coming up with something new and different and you can't do same old, same old. Although I think a lot of us do fall into our comfort zones and keep repeating the things we like to do. Um, so there was that. I have taken art classes. I took part in shows, have sold paintings, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also what Barbara Sher, Sher, wrote in her book, Refuse to Choose. I also thought, why is it that I can't pick a career and stick with it for 35 years and get my gold watch and be done with it? But that's not how some of us are wired. So it was always a case of try something.
And
And,
move.
and before I go on with that, part of part of the criticism of people like that, and I think the reason that there's maybe some shaming that goes on with people like that, people like me, people like Barbara Scher, is that it's like, oh, can't follow through. Oh, doesn't finish what she started. Her contention is that some of us have just differently hardwired brains, and we want to experience everything. We want to try everything. And when we get what we were meant to get out of a particular thing, we move on to the next thing because we're curious and because we want to keep learning. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So, there was the experimentation that comes with that. And then, of course, and I've said this repeatedly on my channel, that I was one of those people that, well, number one, always was very skeptical about Facebook, but I was equally as skeptical about YouTube, because I always thought that it was a place where irresponsible and reckless young men did jackass stunts. And I didn't really think that there was anything there for me. But, enter COVID and the lockdown. Well, our worlds became pretty small. And it was like, Pandora's box opened. And I thought, holy cow, I've been missing all this great content. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there too, but missing great content and information and tutorials and basically, it's all well, virtually almost all free for the taking. So, that was the beginning of the end for me. And I think that this is perfect in that it gives a person like me the chance to mix my love of textiles, my love of color, my love of books and paper. Like, honestly, when I look at some of the paper that I have been hanging on to for 25 or 30 years, I think to myself, like, are you nuts, woman? But it seemed like it was all kind of destined to come together at this point in my life and doing this stuff. And because there's so much variety, even for someone like me who wants and needs the variety, like I like to say that I have to shoot myself if I had to go to a 9-to-5 job, like that would literally destroy me. So the fact that there is all this variety and the constant opportunities to learn, that is really what turns my crank. And Trudy, aren't you sorry you asked?
Well, that's why YouTube, when I was taking my art classes, they didn't teach you some of the things I wanted to know. So I turned to YouTube to learn it. And it helps.
Well, and I think the other thing, and I would also say one of the life-altering moments was that I saw an ad in one of those Somerset Studio or one of those type or Stampington publications, and it was for oh well, I remember her name now. Well, it's Life Book. She's that artist in the UK. Oh, Willowing. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, help me out here. Anyway, it was one of those things. I thought, well, okay, I'm stuck here anyway because we can't go anywhere. So why don't I, spring for the $100 or whatever the early bird price was, and sign up for this undertaking, because I like the idea of being exposed to all these artists and creators, and in the end, theoretically, I would have this book. And of course, access to rewatching these courses and so on. And, it was truly like going down a rabbit hole, in that I was exposed to all these new people. And of course, all these new people, they have websites and they have their own courses and they have a YouTube channel, and they've got product and whatever. And one thing led to another, which led to another, which led to another. And yeah, I don't necessarily perhaps like that, necessarily what I learned in that class, but it was the exposure to all those people that was so awesome. Because like I said to Martha earlier, it's kind of like life is a smorgasbord. We get to pick what we want, and only when you know what some of the choices are that you can make maybe some better decisions. So anyway, Martha, do you know who Tony's Magical Arts and Crafts is?
Yes, I do.
Well, she's here. Hello, Tony.
Down on my knees to get it, so y'all might have to call 911. So let's see.
You always can't get up?
I can get up, but it's not easy.
That used to be the tagline in a commercial for those, alarm, those things
I'm
that you.
falling and I can't get up.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lifeline.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2. I did it.
Why were you down there anyway?
I dropped my paintbrush, the one I wanted.
Oh.
Because I'm using my pit pens now for my shading. It's just easier for me. And I like this paintbrush. Because it hasn't lost its point yet.
Would you say that you're hard on your brushes, or are you pretty gentle?
I'm hard on them. Sometimes I forget about them and they're in the water. And yeah, it's my fault.
Ladies, remember, you heard it here first. She's hard on her brushes.
And I lost the pen I wanted too. Is that it? I think this is it.
Well, Carol from Crinkled Path came up with a good idea. One day she was doing I don't know if it was a haul video or what it was exactly, but she was talking about ashtrays, and of course, not for smoking, but because they have those two little sort of divots on the side, or those two little, notches, I guess, as that being a great place and way to lay down your brushes and sort of protect the point while you're working on them. Now, of course, a watercolor brush isn't going to get wrecked because it's water and it will, but Martha, do you use a brush basin or brush tub? I can't remember exactly what it's called, to wash your brushes?
I have a jar, an old jelly jar here.
Well, I remember when, and again, this was something that I know because we had the store. There used to be, I think they were called brush basins, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it was a thing with it was a two-part container that had clean water and dirty water, and it had molded things at the bottom, like molded plastic at the bottom, where they alleged that you could rest your brush without, wrecking the point. Even now, the way I wash my brushes, if I've been using them on acrylic paint, is it's if I'm doing a video, I obviously put it in a bag so it doesn't dry out before I can get it to the sink. And then I just squirt a bit of dish soap into the palm of my hand and just work the brush into, well, this is kind of a tough brush here, but just sort of, oh, it doesn't show. Okay, so I would have soapy water in the palm of my hand and I just work my brush over like that. And of course, you always lie it flat to dry. You don't stick it back upright in a jar or something, because then the water will drip down and wreck the glue that is holding this all together. So you leave it flat, and that should help prolong the life.
A good way to get dried paint off is you can use either Murphy's oil soap or hand sanitizer.
So are you saying that I would lift dried acrylic paint?
Because I'm bad to forget about my brushes, so I have to do. Dish soap ain't gonna cut it.
But you're saying that hand sanitizer would dissolve dried up acrylic paint and
will help. It says it's not perfect,
but it will keep you from having to throw your brush away.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And Murphy's oil soap.
Oh, Trudy had to leave, so thank you for stopping in.
Bye, Trudy.
Oh, and Create and Relate says she also uses micellar water sometimes. Okay, those are good tips.
What was it?
Micellar water.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's for taking your makeup off.
Oh.
You buy it at the drugstore or Costco. Has anyone, I remember, of course, during COVID, everyone and his brother was buying umpteen gallons, or, well, not gallons, but lots of bottles of hand sanitizer. And then, of course, when the threat was over or whatever, you'd see it in all these stores. Anyway, I remember seeing someone on YouTube using it to clean their craft mat.
Oh yeah, it works good for cleaning stuff. I use mine too sometimes.
Yeah, I've done it, but it sure seems like you need a lot of elbow grease too. So I don't know if it depends on what was actually in the hand sanitizer, or I don't.
Yeah, I think it's got to do with how long you let it sit.
Oh, maybe I was rushing it. Oh, Caroline says she's soaked hard brushes in fabric softener.
That's a good idea too.
Ellen says the cake looked like a wreck, but she managed to salvage it. I just kind of am in awe of anybody who still does baking like that. Oh, I did a video earlier today with about a Happy Meal that I got from, a birthday card from Janet Birdsall, and a happy mail from Judy Hurst. I'm just going to get that napkin because it's too cute. You didn't see the video.
Are you still sewing your thing?
Yes. Okay. It says it's one of these what is that? Tainter. These vintage ladies, and it says from scratch. Why, yes, I scratched the label right off the bakery's box. That's the kind of cake that I'd be doing. Yes, Martha, I'm still stitching. That's why we call it slow stitching. I've only done about a foot.
No.
And of course, this isn't the final layer either, because I do have, and I've shown this recently also. These were, but you guys don't have Dollarama. These are little sequins that are in the shape of flowers, and they have a hole in the middle. I, of course, had to buy one of every color, as well as, I probably didn't. Well, I thought I brought the, as well as these iridescent butterflies. So purple and just plain old iridescent. So at some point I'll be sewing those on as well.
So you're going to be working on that quite some time.
Yes. See, Caroline, thanks for coming.
Bye, Caroline. Okay, there's something that I forgot to do, but I think I'll save it for last.
In case anyone is interested, I am on this snippet using my thread doubled up, and it's not that I necessarily need that extra strength, but I'm so sick and tired of having that short little tail come out of the needle, and I spent half my life rethreading the needle. So this way, got a little boo-boo happening there. This way, I tie one knot, and I've got, I don't have the thread slipping out of the eye of the needle. So if you can't beat them, join them. And it was through YouTube, and I think it was watching Rachel at Roxy Creations that I first learned, and maybe I'm the last one to know, her method for knotting a thread. So she grabs the tail of the thread. I'm right-handed, so this would be in my left hand. You sort of lay your needle down parallel to the thread, wind it around a few times, and then just with your thumb and index finger, slide it all the way down. A little, oh, of course, now that I'm trying to show it, it's not going to work. Um, Obviously, there's twice as much thread here as normal because I do have it doubled up. Let's see if I ended up with a knot or if I have to. Eat my words.
Oh my God, I'm getting paint everywhere.
So, because you have a glass mat, does that mean that you really don't do too much to protect your area?
Well, the mat is supposed to be clean, but I have craft paper underneath it.
Oh, okay.
But I still get it all over my clothes. Even though I'm trying my best not to.
My needle knotting demo is just going like a charm here. Oh my God. I live on a farm and I basically have my, what I call my farm clothes, jeans that have now worn through in a couple of places. So I'm like those teenagers that, have the holy pants and just a little cotton t-shirt. And I wear that like 7 days out of the week. I mean, I have multiples of them, but it just like clothes are just not a priority, especially on when you're like, I don't want to have to worry about protecting my clothes.
I know most of my clothes eventually get paint on them. Unfortunately, and I don't particularly love it, but I'm too messy. you
Uh,
know?
maybe you're trying to be too fancy and la-di-da in your studio
Uh,
instead of wearing your worst clothes.
no, I don't do fancy.
So Sherry is taking off. Or is it Charisse? How do you say that?
Sherry, I think it's Sherry's journey.
Oh, okay. So, Martha, we have been at this a couple of hours now. I mean, almost. We had technical difficulties, but um, how much longer are we going?
Are you ready to leave?
Well, no, I'm fine here. I'm having a ball. I'd be stitching whether I was here or not, but
Well,
I just don't
try to
want
go
to.
till I finish my elephant or almost.
Yeah. Well, when you stop answering, I'll know that it's over. So it looks like Helen could be arrested by the fashion police as well. She said she wears her old clothes and she saves her good ones for going to town.
Most of the time, when I'm at home, I'm wearing pajamas. I'm not wearing them now, but most of the time I am. And I kind of regret not wearing them because I got them on this blouse I've had for like 12 years. I finally got paint on it.
So you're saying it's only a matter of time before there's paint on everything.
Yeah.
Martha, do you
Mhm.
do you make journals as well, or is your the primary focus of your channel art?
No, I make journals too. I've been working on my first little golden book lately.
So what kind of cover, like what are you doing for a cover? Are you using a cinch machine, or are you making a traditional cover for it and binding?
Oh, I usually, well, that one is sewn in. I'll show you real quick if I don't get paint on it.
Well, then don't.
But yeah, this is I sewed this one in. And I got a few more things to put in it before I'm done.
Oh, that's cute. So you made your own spine, obviously. Did you keep all the pages intact?
Yeah, I did, but I wanted them to be together, but they're split up by the first and the last signature. I realized I should have done 4 signatures if I wanted them to be all in a row, but I didn't do that.
Well, I think it would be easy enough for people to pick up the story anyway. So don't beat yourself up.
I'm gonna keep that one. It's my first little golden book, so I'm gonna just keep it anyway.
Yeah, I have a couple that either were in really sad condition when I got them, or I have duplicates off that I want to. I haven't done a little golden book yet myself, so but considering I have about 200 other things on the to-do list, it's I don't know when its turn is going to come.
I made this one too. I've made quite a few now. I had this cloth, God, I couldn't tell you how long. I finally used it to cover this journal. Love this cloth.
I would say that you need to try to get over your aversion to color.
I bound it. I sewed it in with yellow yarn. Am I
Well,
frozen?
and did you find that the yarn is staying, like it didn't slip?
It seems to be doing okay.
Good.
I have the pages are brown paper bag. Okay, what else do I want to do to this elephant? Some shiny knees here.
Helen is pretty active in the chat. She's saying that and I guess Joan too. A lot of these people like wearing their pajamas, I guess. But Helen puts on a clean shirt and brushes her hair and adds lipstick. um, okay, and then she says, "Oh, Martha," she says that Hazel's a good co-host. She asks lots of questions.
Yay!
I think I do have pretty good interviewing skills. I ask the questions that I want answers to, and almost always other people would have asked the same thing if they would have had a chance. So
I guess I forget to do that a lot. I just talk, 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 talk.
no, it's just paint, paint, paint.
Okay, I need to help you guys. What could I add to my elephant to make it? Oh, I know what I forgot to add. He needs a little raindrops. I like for people to tell me what I need to do in my life.
So Helen is just saying that she's impressed with the people that I chose for the masterboard madness thing, and that some of them are saying, "Well, why did she pick me? Why did she pick me?" And that it should be obvious why I picked them. I think that my underlying idea was to pick little channels and big channels and people with some, a variety of styles or um, techniques. Like I think eventually everyone develops their own style, and I remember, and even now, it's such a slog to try to build one subscription base. Thank you for anyone who helped with that today, by the way. Um, but I think that, anybody who's achieved a wee bit of success owes it to the people who are maybe not quite as far along on the journey and, need help bumping up their subscription numbers. So, if that helped people, then that's reason enough to do it.
Yeah,
And
that's I make everybody moderators that comes in. I want for people to connect and be able to grow their channel and be easy to connect with everybody.
yeah, well, and I think that it's also a bit of, and not that I've been involved with that many lives, um, and certainly I'm just in the process of finally have my own StreamYard thing, and we'll be, doing some of that fairly soon. But um, I think it also helps to be real and like not let the chat be clicky, like welcome new people, be nice to each other, be supportive, all that jazz, instead of, maybe too many inside jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that, that all helps us advance our cause a bit. And I think anybody who's watched me for any length of time knows that I say what I mean and I mean what I say. So I'm not blowing smoke when I say that I have learned something new in every single one of those masterboard videos. So I think it just proved, and some of the people that I asked hadn't even done masterboards before. But I guess I have enough, I don't know, street cred or something, that people said yes when I asked, and that was really gratifying. And it also, I know that if I was asked to do something, I'd give it my best, and they gave it their best. And hey, that's how we keep, helping each other learn and progress and grow. So, so Martha, those splotches that the elephant is sitting on, is that sort of what your table looks like? Splotches of paint?
Yep.
So he's actually sitting on your work table.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
name your like, are you going to name that guy or what?
You guys can name it if you want. Tell me what he needs, y'all. I know he needs something.
Jones Junk Journal said that he needs pink earrings.
Oh, Scrapbooks and Memories is here. Jennifer. Oh, hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you, Helen. No help from the gallery.
Well, and everyone in the chat, you realize it is artist prerogative to ignore any good advice that she doesn't happen to agree with. See, if he had opposable thumbs, he could hold something, but he's just barely hanging on to the umbrella. So
I know. I like that I added a little bit of a red tone to his gray.
yeah, that gives it more depth.
Not my best job, but also not my worst.
Oh, Beck says that he needs a duck friend.
A duck. Oh, Lord. I don't think I can do that right now. Do I even know how to draw a duck? I don't know if I've ever even drew one. Thank you, Joan. So it's officially started my new painting journal.
Jonah's saying, what about a mouse?
A mouse. I don't want to draw. I don't want to add anything else. There's not enough room without. If I had thought of it ahead of time, maybe.
Yeah. See, you asked for feedback a little too late.
Yeah.
All these ideas are sort of messing with your composition.
I don't like his front legs. His back legs are too big and his front legs are too small. But hey, that's kind of like me. My bottom half is bigger than my top half, so. Self-portrait, y'all.
There reaches a point in every life where the discussion takes a decided turn for the silly.
One lady used to come in here. She said, I know it's Martha's live because every time I come in here, y'all are talking about food. We haven't even talked about food tonight. Oh, we did. People were talking about cakes and what they had for dinner, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, not very considerate of those who are working through supper, right?
Oh, I had my dinner before. You know what I had? It was so good. I don't know if you call it baby quiches or what, but I fried up this ground pork and beat up some eggs and put some cottage cheese in it and some cheddar cheese and mixed it all up, chopped up some peppers in it, and put it in a muffin tin. Oh my God, it was so good.
And you're going to say that you don't cook? That sounds like to me.
It was really easy. That's why. Because the cheese, I mean, there's no bread or flour in it, but that cottage cheese and that cheddar cheese gives it like a crispiness, and it's almost like you're eating a muffin with bread in it.
Huh.
Okay, I think I'm done with my elephant. Maybe I'll go over him with some Mod Podge. They always look better after a little Mod Podge, I think. Yeah, Helen used to always have to go get a snack when she came to my lives. We were always talking about food.
So why are you planning to put Mod Podge on?
Because it seals it in. And like if you use different media, like sometimes I might have flat paint or shiny paint, the Mod Podge just unifies it and gives it a nice seal.
Yeah. I don't know, what the deal is, but I really hate Mod Podge. I hate the smell, and I hate the fact that it never seems to dry, that it always seems to stay tacky. Do you think that's a climate related thing or what?
Well, some of it is, but I've learned that you can. One thing you can do after it's dried a few days, you can rub in just a tiny bit of Vaseline so that it won't stick to anything else.
But doesn't that make it greasy?
No, you're not using that much. Or you
Oh,
can baby powders, but I don't like baby powders as good myself.
Bex is wondering if that guy could have a peanut.
Peanut? I don't want to paint anything else in.
Sorry.
I guess I asked late. And I can't find my sponge brush.
So you would just do one coat, right?
Okay.
Martha, you'll do one coat?
Yeah, I just put some on there, and what I do is after I put some on, I kind of tap it like this. It gives it a nice little texture so it's not quite so shiny.
And are you using you're not using the gloss one. You must be using matte anyway,
The
right?
matte, yeah, it still has a gloss, but not as much.
And do you not those fumes don't bother you?
No, I even use what you call it? Oh Lord, Fabri-Tac, and it's got a stronger smell.
Oh,
I use that a lot. It doesn't really bother me.
I guess it depends what our sensitivity is, because I don't mind Fabri-Tac, but I absolutely get a headache from Mod Podge. So
Now, if it smelled like perfume or something like that, I wouldn't be able to stand it.
did that bother you when you were doing oil paints, like the oil and the turpentine and all of that?
Yeah, I did not like. I like the results, but I do not like messing with all those chemicals and stuff.
Yeah.
You talk about making a mess. I really made a mess when I was doing that stuff. And after all that work, I only kept one of the paintings that I did.
Well, and doesn't it have quite a long drying time too?
Yeah, and I used to have to take it. Oh, it was miserable when I was in that class because I would take the bus. I had to drive. Well, we used to drive to Sam's Club, take the bus to. It was about an hour away, but take me 2.5 hours to get there on bus because I switch around and all the stops. And sometimes I would be carrying a wet painting. But I
Well,
figured out it where it wasn't too bad.
yeah. I think that, that's one of the, I think that's also a plus with using acrylics, that they really do, unless you're using you know, a medium to slow down the drying, they dry really quite quickly, too, unless of course you're, maybe troweling it on with a palette knife or something. But I think that, most of us kind of want results a little bit faster than you'd get with oil paints.
Yeah, where I was going to college, they were only offering oil, so I took it. But after I discovered acrylics, there was no going back.
Yeah.
Now I'm falling in love with gouache. It's like the perfect mix between watercolor and acrylic. And it seems to be easier for me to handle.
I have gouache, but I don't know that I've used it other than for, fixes, like when you're trying to restore, uh, when you're trying to restore a white on a watercolor.
Uh huh. Well, I bought, these influencers. They're always influencing. I wanted some of those jelly gouache things, the Hemi. So I finally broke down and bought one during the Black Friday sales. I'm surprised. I really am enjoying it.
So, okay, so what's the difference? Or is that just a brand, like a particular brand, or what?
What it is. You see these a lot in YouTube videos for artists. If I can get it open here. Has these little jelly cups. Can you see it, or am I frozen?
No, that's gouache.
Yep.
Holy cow. So you're saying it's more opaque.
Yeah, it's more opaque than watercolor. And I enjoy it. I don't know. I like it.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye, Jennifer. That's what I painted my island, most of it. Okay, there is my elephant. Drying.
Helen was asking if you still have your fish art above your desk.
I
The favorite done.
surely do. Helen, I used to have a little one like that. I wonder if I still got it. It's not exactly the same. Nothing ever comes out the same twice. It's a lot smaller. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. Maybe you'll like it too.
So what has been going on in the chat is that some people it's still about Mod Podge, and they're saying thin it out and use a lot less than what you've been using.
Less than me?
Yeah. I think it was a solution for the stickiness issue.
Well, I used to have a problem with it on my canvases, but don't seem to have a much problem when I do it in a book. I think it's because usually a paper on top of it, because I only do one side.
Yeah. Well,
If
and a paper would be more absorbent than a canvas.
about 6 months or maybe 8 months ago, I used to keep this area really clean all the time, but now I just can't seem to do it. It's always a mess over here.
Bye, Bex. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Bexx. What do you want, Mr. Rocky? My kitty's whining at me. Oh, his bowl is empty. He's going to die.
He's probably saying, isn't it time you paid some attention to me?
Okay, I'm getting you some food. You too, Hershey?
Hell, this is Bohemian fabric snippet roll.
Are you going to put that in a journal?
Um, I reserve the right to hoard it. I've been kind of on a snippet roll kick lately, and when you put that much blood, sweat, and tears into something, it's not that easy to just use it. So I have to ease into that idea slowly.
It is pretty.
Well, and there will be so much more added to it before all is said and done. So, Martha, I don't want to make you, stay longer than you intended to. You
How
tell me when
long?
you're to quit, because I'm just the guest here.
Are we on? We've been on 2.5 hours. I think we have.
Yeah, less our our faulty start there, but yeah.
Well, I'm okay if you want to go. I mean, I'm not going to do anything else. I'll just sit here.
Well, I'm just cognizant of the fact that there is a monthly limit on streaming time.
Well, if
So,
I out, I'll just use Restream or YouTube. But yeah, I guess
yeah.
we can go. I usually get worn out about the 2 hour mark these days. I have done one for 5 hours before, but I lost my stamina somewhere.
Well, it doesn't help that you haven't been feeling well either.
See, that gives it a, you can't feel it, but it gives it a really nice texture. And when it dries good, I think it gives it just a nice uniform look.
Are you trying to make us believe that that's dry already?
It needs some time to cure, but it's touchable.
Really?
Yeah.
I was probably overdoing it when I see you, Terry. Thanks for being here. I was probably laying it on a bit thick the last time I tried using that.
Yeah, you don't really need a lot. Good night, Terry. Okay, I guess we will sign off then. And Hazel, if you ever want me to come on your channel, I would be happy to repay the favor.
Well, I think I'm definitely taking you up on it. I just need to get some StreamYard experience under my belt here. because I think it's even more nerve-wracking when you're the sort of the host. So anyway, yes, for sure. I'm going to have you um I'm going to have you as my guest one day.
Okay, well,
It's
I'll look
been a
for,
lot of
and I guess we will say goodbye, and we might be on again sometime soon. And I love y'all. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you for sitting with me while I painted my silly little elephant.
Thanks, Martha.
Bye.
Bye-bye.